Kickoff starts now.
Welcome to the 17th episode of From the Den, where we have a very special guest, Bears fifth round selection, Trevis Gipson.
Man, thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And thank you again so much for coming on. This will be awesome.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Okay, so just going on to the first question, How did you get into football and what other sports did you play? Because we'll get into it later. You have a very athletic family. Your mom ran track. Your brother plays basketball. Your grandpa was an NFL player. So what got you into football rather than the other sports?
I think I just saw the best potential in myself through football. I did play basketball, but, I'm only about 6'4", 6'3", so being on the basketball court, it's a lot of 6'7", 6'8" guys, and I just felt like my build was really best for my decision in football just because defensive end, the body type that they typically have is similar to mine. So, understanding that, I knew it could take me farther than other sports, and I couldn't be more appreciative.
And at what point did you decide that you were going to be playing defensive end rather than another position in football? Like, were you playing a different positions earlier in your football career?
So primarily I did outside linebacker, middle linebacker, and defensive end. But as time went on, just seeing my pass rush ability and my size and length able to hold the edge on the offensive lineman, it was best that I did defensive end. And I knew that, like I said, it could take me farther than any other options that I did have.
Mm-hmm. So you were never on the offense or anything? Always?
No.
All right. Got it. Like what Oren said, you had a very athletic family growing up. So did that influence, was there always a sense of competitiveness, or did that help drive you to the next level at all?
Oh, most definitely. Seeing my dad go to the University of Texas, and then not only him, but my brother went to Kansas State University, and they both did basketball. It just sort of put a chip on my shoulder. I mean, as a lot of things do.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it made me more competitive. Being young, competing with my brother all my life, I think that helped me out in the long run because, as I just said, I'm more competitive than most people, what I feel like at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so growing up, which sports players did you look up to? Were you more of a basketball fan, a football fan? What athletes did you look up to?
Honestly, I was more of a basketball fan. I looked up to LeBron James, and more specifically for my position in basketball was Dwight Howard. He was obviously a great center, tall, long, able to block shots, rebound, run the floor. So those were the two main guys I looked up to. And then besides them, football-wise, it was more Von Miller and really just the big names, just seeing Tom Brady, a lot of guys that were great in football, more than likely not playing my position, or some did, obviously, like Julius Peppers and Von Miller. But, I mean, just those guys, they sort of helped me transform from the LeBron James and Dwight Howard to more on their side, especially when I decided to play football more.
Got it. Yeah, moving on to at the end of your high school career, you were ranked 1,866 overall and 132nd outside linebackers. But of course, you ended up in your 5 years of college, you gained a lot of weight, and then you ended up making it into the NFL, which is really remarkable. So, what was your mindset, or what was the driving force in allowing you, how did you improve that much in those 5 years to end up making it to the NFL?
I think it was really just gaining weight. I came into college about 205 pounds, came out about 265. And I just had a huge chip on my shoulder. I only had one Division I offer, so I felt like a lot of people passed me up. A lot of people didn't think that I could get the job done for them. And now, even back then, it was just my main goal to make them reap what they sowed. Now they have to watch me work, watch me play football when they doubted themselves and me. So I think that's what drove me the most throughout my college career.
Right, that's a really good mentality. And were you ever put down by the fact that that you only got one offer, or was it really just motivational for you?
At the beginning, it was sort of down. Obviously, I felt like I could play. I knew.
Right.
I knew the determination that I had in myself and faith that I had in myself, but it was hard to convince others to get that or have that confidence in me. So once I accepted the fact that all I had was myself, I turned it up a notch.
Yeah, so going into your college career, I would say debatably your best game was in 2018 against Southern Methodist, where you had 7 total tackles, 2 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. How did you have such a good game? Like,
just bring us into that atmosphere. Like, was anything special going on in that game, or was it just, lucky? Or
So SMU is actually located in Dallas, which is where I'm from. So for SMU not to give me an opportunity, it was I think it sort of fueled the fire even more. They came to visit us at our stadium, and that was the first year that I actually was starting on defense. So man, that last game, it was like, all right, this is my last chance to put a stamp on my legacy before I enter my senior year. And like I said, I mean, I knew what I could do. I had a lot of confidence in myself, and I really wanted them to reap what they sowed.
That's a very good attitude. Instead of, sulking about it, you took what you had and used it to motivate yourself.
Was SMU that you wanted to go to? Was it also kind of like motivating to try to beat them, or?
So SMU, I mean, with them being my hometown, it's just like the Bears being Chicago's main football team, and that's how it was in Dallas. SMU was Dallas's main football team. So for them to overlook me, and I had good accolades in high school, it was just that coaches didn't believe that I could gain weight. So, I mean, had they offered me and gave me an opportunity to play for them, I probably would have taken it. I obviously have family in Dallas, friends in Dallas, so I felt like that would have been a great experience. But overall, I think it paid off that I went to Tulsa.
Oh, and also a main thing in Texas, or I know that a lot of people watch high school and college football over the NFL. So was that would you grow up being more of a college or a high school fan or a NFL fan? What would you watch more often?
I think I would watch high school more often.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously the Cowboys is a big deal, and not only the country, but Dallas itself. But I was more into the high school part of football. I think that was the part that I was most zoned in on because I was a part of it myself. So that grabbed my attention more.
Got it. Yeah. All right. So now moving on to your NFL career, just walk us through what it was like to be drafted into the NFL. What was going through your mind and such?
Man, that day was a long day, and the months leading up to it was long themselves also. But, it was just I still feel like I have a lot to achieve. So that day, I wouldn't say I was numb to it. I did shed literally like 2 tears. But after that, it was just like, man, I still have a lot of work to do. It's a great milestone in my career, but it won't be done until I hang the cleats up. So it was a great feeling, but I'm looking forward to what's in front of me.
Mm-hmm. Very professional. Oh yeah, did the virtual aspect of it, because of what we're going through, take away from the experience, or did it feel odd at all?
A little bit. We usually before the draft, we get to visit facilities and different organizations all over the country. But after the draft, it was just like, man, I can't be in Illinois right now. I have to stay in Dallas. I have to virtually meet throughout the rookie mini camp, and I have to learn this playbook all through an iPad. I can't go in with my coach and draw things up on the board. So it was a new thing. I'm obviously still adjusting to it. I mean, obviously, if I could do an interview.
Illinois yet, or are you still in Dallas?
I'm in Illinois now.
Okay, yeah.
So rookies got to report about a week ago. So, it's better now, but we still can't go in the facility until they say so.
Got it.
Yeah, so before the draft, how did you look at the Bears? Like, when you thought of the Bears, what would you think of?
No,
sorry, you can go.
I was just going to say, I thought of tremendous defense and a great coaching staff. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Khalil Mack, and now I get to be his teammate, so that's a blessing in itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll get on to stuff about Khalil Mack a little bit later. Was there any team in specific that were reaching out to you before, or that you expected to be drafted by, or was
A couple teams that were really heavy on me was Minnesota, Seattle, Indianapolis was a little bit heavy on me. I mean, it was a lot of teams that needed edge defenders, but I just knew that whoever gave me an opportunity was going to be the best for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then at what point did you know that you would be drafted by Chicago?
I didn't know until they gave me a
Until they
call.
got it, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny that Minnesota traded with the Bears. The Bears traded their 4th-round pick next year to move up and get you. So what do you think that shows about the Bears, how much they wanted you and how much they were willing to give up to move up and still get you?
I think it shows a lot. You know, obviously it shows value. It shows that they care about me not only as a person, but the opportunities that I want in my life they help present. So, I mean, I'm real grateful for that. And for them to pay out the Vikings to trade up to get me, I mean, I couldn't be more appreciative.
Yeah.
Oren, you can go.
So you said before the draft, you said there were some players you looked up to, including like Von Miller and Khalil Mack. What's it gonna be like playing with Khalil Mack? Is he you expect to learn from him? Are you gonna like soak in all of what he does well and just try to model your game after his? Because you've said that you try to model your game after his, but now you get to see him in real life every day in practice. So how do you think that'll help you?
I think it's gonna help me a lot. You know, just mirroring what he's done, and obviously he's in his year 7 or 8. I can't specifically remember, but the things that he's done up to now has obviously made him successful as a great edge defender. So I'm going to try my best to model his game and also model mine and see what comes out.
How much have you been able to interact with him thus far? Because you haven't met with him in person yet, have you?
Not yet, no, but I've spoke to him on Zoom calls. We've texted a little bit, and I mean, I'm obviously real close to his little brother. So, I mean, it's been a good amount, I feel like, thus far.
Got it. So like you said before, how you said the Bears, you thought of a great defense with the Bears, and they also have one of the best pass rushers with, Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn now and Akeem Hicks. So what do you think that you can add to this defense this year, and what do you think your role will be?
I think I can add even better or even more opportunities for pass rush techniques. And, with all those guys being great distractions on the defensive line, I think I can come in and help be productive. Obviously, I have to establish a leadership role, if not this year, then years down the road. But overall, I'm just coming to handle business and do whatever dirty work that the coaches and the players ask me. And obviously within respect of myself, but, I want to help the team and hopefully help get us to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
something great about this the Bears pass rushers, like you kind of touched on, I think, is that if Khalil Mack is getting double teamed or Akeem Hicks is, then it opens up, like they can't have all the offensive linemen like blocking everyone, so someone's going to be able to come in, and I think it's going to be you, and it'll be exciting.
Man, definitely.
Yeah.
So onto a bit more of a controversial topic with Bears fans. Who do you think will be the starting quarterback this year, Foles or Trubisky?
I have no clue, man. I think those guys are going to have to work it out. And, I mean, the ultimate decision won't be up to me. And,
Right.
This is my first year on the organization, so I can't really say for sure now.
Have you been talking to them at all?
I have not, no.
Okay, got it.
Which players on the Bears defense have you seen as mostly like the leaders?
I would say if not Danny Trevathan, then Khalil Mack or Eddie Jackson. I mean, we have a lot of guys on our defense who's really great leaders. And, I haven't been able to get around them much, but just vocally from Zoom calls, I mean, they're all great people and great leaders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So moving on to the COVID-19 aspect of this NFL season, do you have any insight as to how the NFL should handle this or what will end up happening?
Man, we're taking it day by day. Literally, like as we were texting before this, our schedule changes by the day. So we're just taking it slowly. And I mean, I'm just a rookie. So I'm letting the big dogs call the shots and I'm just following along with it. So I'm hoping we have a season. Hopefully we can get as many fans as we can at Soldier Stadium, but I can't guarantee that we will.
Yeah, do you think that how do you think not having fans will affect your game? Obviously, there probably hasn't been that many times where you've played football games where there have been no fans. But, like, how do you think do players feed off of the fans? How do fans help players play better?
We definitely feed off the fans, you know. If you see some of my clips, I love to do celebrations. And without fans, what's the point of celebrating?
Right.
You know, I feel like that's one of our main attributes in the NFL, and not only in the NFL, but football itself. It's hard to be entertainers if there's no one to entertain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. Because above all, you know, you're there to entertain the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or at least it's a main aspect. So how we touched on you getting in contact with players over phone calls, but how has that affected your ability to like connect with new Bears players? Yeah, because I think for rookies especially, it's hard when you're coming into this new environment and you have to do it all over Zoom. So how has that affected you personally?
You know, it's put a bump in the road as far as getting to know the players better. I mean, obviously the rookies and I are around each other, so we know each other pretty well, are familiar with each other. But as far as the vets and the coaching staff, you know, it's a hiccup, and you can't really get to know somebody until you get in person with them and see how they carry themselves. You know, you hear their tone of voice, which obviously you can through Zoom calls or phone calls, but
It's not the same.
you know, it's not the same.
Yeah, so like you said, you looked up to some quarterbacks like Tom Brady. Who are you most excited to sack out of all NFL quarterbacks?
Man, the way that the Bears nation is putting it, it has to be Aaron Rodgers, man. Just because he's our rival. He's obviously an old-time vet. He's been around for a long time, and I felt like a picture of me tackling him is something that I can put up in my man cave.
Yeah, I think everyone would be happy if you sacked Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, for sure. Thus far, has there been any particular sack or particular play that sticks out in your memory as like one of your proudest moments?
I don't know if y'all have heard of Sam Ehlinger from Texas. He was their quarterback, but he was that was one of my favorite sacks. But I don't think any of my previous sacks will top the ones that I plan to have in the NFL, especially with the elite guys that we're going to be playing against.
Yeah. So you got great stuff coming down the road, which excites us.
Man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just a few final questions. I know it's a bit premature, but do you see the Bears being back in the playoffs next year?
I do. Yes.
That's great. Great attitude. Oren, do you have any other questions, or should we do our closing question here?
We'll do our closing question.
All right, great. What advice do you have for aspiring NFL players or just athletes in general?
You know, just never give up on your dreams, man. You only need one opportunity, and when you get that opportunity, you better be equipped and ready with the right things to take advantage of it. Life is so short, you know, you never know what can happen, but when the opportunity is present, like I said, you just got to take advantage of it, man, and you can turn it into something great, something that you probably never thought that opportunity could grow into.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, man. Again, this was Bears linebacker Trevis Gipson.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me so much.
Yeah, bear down.
We can't wait to see you get your first sack and plenty more.
Yeah.
Man, I can't wait either.
All right.
All right, thanks.
All right, man.
Peace.
If you enjoyed this episode of From the Den, please remember to subscribe, comment, and like this video. Or, if you're a Packers fan, remember to dislike and leave a nasty comment. Click the links on the screen to access additional content.